This is the best of the Morning X. We hope this is helping you pass the time. We can't guarantee anything else. 99X.
Good morning, X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. Please welcome Mr. Michael Moore. Not the boxer Michael Moore, but the author, filmmaker extraordinaire Michael Moore.
I could go 10 rounds with any of you guys.
Easily.
Probably. Hey, have you ever had any situations where you've been mistaken for your names or any mix-ups like that?
You know, that actually has happened. And, of course, because we live in such a wonderfully integrated society, it's kind of funny. I usually get Roger Moore, though.
Right.
That's the one, because there's a dyslexic problem here with, Roger and me, Michael Moore, therefore Roger Moore.
Mm-hmm. You've got to be happy. I saw the big one Friday night amongst a very large crowd here in Atlanta. A lot of people were more people going to your movie than Primary Colors, which is right next door to it.
Wow.
You were getting a nice crowd.
You actually paid for it? You went to the...
I paid, went to the real movie house, the whole 9 yards.
Whoa.
That's two of us. I did as well.
Wow, it was a great crowd, huh?
And we told Leslie about it, so...
I haven't seen it yet, but did you do the big Hollywood premiere?
Yeah.
Come on, I want to hear this.
Yeah, in fact, didn't I see Leonardo DiCaprio show up there? And wasn't...
Did you do some sort of premiere?
Yeah, we did something in Rockford, Illinois.
Oh, that's...
There you go.
And you showed up at the premiere with Winona Ryder, right,
yeah,
on
right.
your arm. I see that.
I enjoy the movie. I guess the obvious part that I want to talk about, or a lot of people are curious about, is your encounter with Phil Knight.
Right.
At Nike.
In the movie, you're on a radio call-in show, and I guess one of his PR flacks happens to call up and invites you down.
Right. Phil Knight, actually, is listening to me on this call-in show.
Phil Knight, CEO of Nike. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Right. And he has his PR guy call in live on the air and say, Phil would like to see it. Come on out. And I had named Phil Knight as one of my favorite corporate crooks in my book, Downsize This. And he told me that Phil's wife had given Phil my book as her anniversary present to him. So I thought, whoa, it's kind of interesting.
You think that was a screen, thinking that maybe you would not come? You thought, oh, thanks for the offer, but then you show up with the cameras and he went through with it.
Yeah. No, I don't know why he would talk to me. I don't know whether he thought, well, I'm a hip guy, Mike's a hip guy, well, two hip guys, we'll just talk. I don't know maybe he wanted to show Roger from General Motors, here's how you handle this clown.
Well, you went right for the throat with the tickets to Indonesia.
Yeah, I on the way out, I passed this travel agency, and I thought, I got an idea here. And so when I got there, I presented him with the 2 round-trip tickets to Indonesia, one for himself and one for me, so we could go look at his sweatshops. And, he
just pasted the grin on and just kind of went with it.
Yeah, he couldn't make it on Sunday. I said, well, I'll change the ticket to any day you want to go.
Well, let me ask you. First of all, like we say, Phil Knight is not a stupid guy. You don't become Nike CEO by being an idiot.
Right.
And I have to wonder, when Michael Moore has listed you as one of his top 3 corporate crooks.
Right.
And he's coming down to your place. It's like when Mike Wallace pulls up on your front lawn from 60 Minutes. It's not going to be good.
Right.
What would make the guy agree to that?
I've been trying to figure this out for the last, year. I don't know. Maybe it's the $5 marijuana laws in Oregon. I don't know.
Well, what were your feelings after talking with him? What were your feelings about him?
I was surprised that he said a number of the things that he said.
Like what?
I was surprised that he admitted he had never stepped inside his own shoe factory in Indonesia.
Yeah, but
he'd never seen how his own shoes are being made.
Does that surprise you, really?
I would think the head of the company would have at once stepped inside the factory to see the shoes. It stunned me. It really did.
The part that touched me the most about that whole Nike scene was when the man outside in Flint, Michigan, had his little kid there with the Air Jordans that he spent $80 on.
Yep.
Saying, "Hey, I can spend this money on these shoes. I can surely help you make them."
Right.
And he just really it looked like it touched him for a second, but he wasn't going to bite.
Right.
about making a plant in Flint, Michigan.
Well, because he'd said in the film, I don't make shoes here in America because Americans don't want to make shoes. And I said, well, come on, I'll get you 500 people in Flint, Michigan, my hometown.
And you did.
You won't get 500. I said, okay, buddy, you're on.
But now let me just play the devil's advocate and try to say something in Nike's defense. As you know, first of all, they are clearly not the only company in America that is using foreign labor and paying less than $1 an hour.
Right.
So I personally think they've been unfairly singled out, not necessarily by you, but in general.
Right.
But, a lot of what he said, I do believe. Americans out of work will always say, I'll do this, I'll do that, but it doesn't always work that way. I mean, there seems to be a little bit of a corporate is always bad and people who make money are always bad attitude in the movie. And I'm wondering, do you believe that all corporations are just evil inherently?
No. And in fact, I also don't think there's anything wrong with making a profit. The main point of the movie is that we've gone beyond companies just making a profit. We're now talking about greed. I mean, it'd be one thing if these companies, say like General Motors, who made a profit in the last 2 years of $12 billion, you'd think they'd be happy with that. It's a record profit. But they sit around going, let's see, how can we make, $13 billion next year? I know, let's get rid of 10,000 more people,
right,
and we'll have the remaining employees do their job. So they'll just work a little bit harder and faster and longer, and we're going to save this money.
Right, it promotes a downward spiral.
And eventually, if everybody keeps doing this, who's going to be able to afford the cars or the $150 pair of tennis shoes? I mean, I visit those people at the candy bar factory, and they lost their jobs, and now that there's a pasta company that's moved into the factory, but they've gone from making $15 an hour to $6 an hour. They're counted as being employed, though, and that's why the unemployment statistics look really low right now, because people are working. But what kind of work is it? We don't really see what those numbers mean. How people are working for less money, or people are working 2 jobs in order to get by. And I think this economic recovery is built on the backs of a lot of people who are overworked and underpaid right now. And how many people do you know are living on 3 MasterCards and paying the minimum balance from month to month?
And taking a cash advance to pay the other one.
Exactly. I mean, this is, right now we're experiencing the highest personal debt ever in this country and the highest number of personal bankruptcies ever. Sooner or later, this house of cards is going to collapse. It's not going to continue like this.
More of this interview you don't want to miss is back in minutes on the Best of the Morning X 99X.
Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet, host of the #1 podcast, Insight with Chris Van Vliet. On the show, I sit down with the biggest names in pro wrestling, sports, film, and beyond. These are real, long-form conversations that go behind the scenes and beyond the headlines with people like John Cena, The Undertaker, Cody Rhodes, and more. We talk mindset, motivation, and what it takes to succeed. This is Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.